Hey guys, welcome back to Jason and Joni Builds. We are going to install some steering on our 66 Bronco today. We need to put a power steering box, all of our new linkage, and steering stabilizer. Try to get this knocked out and show you guys this portion of the build. Alright guys, so today what I have here is it's a power steering box off an early Bronco. I lucked up on this. I was actually going to pick up a transmission in Lake City, and his son bought a brand new chassis for his Bronco, and they just pulled it out, and this thing had really nice parts on it. I bought a ZF transmission, and a buddy of mine, Brandon Bales, bought that from me, matter of fact today, and since we decided to go a different route. Anyways, I looked up on the power steering box, tack, set of headers, just some headers I'm going to use for my run stand, but you never know what you're going to find. Anyways, it's ready to go on, and there's nothing special about this. It just bolts in place. I'm trying to beat everything up. Let me get my impact and we'll tighten that down where we can move forward. We'll get our pitman arm put on here in a minute and the rest of the linkage. Good and tight. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put our tie rod here. We have the adjustable link. This is everything new except for my adjuster down at the other end. Tom's at the time, those were back ordered. I just used the one I had. But I do want to replace the fasteners with the hardware in it. So I'm not going to do that today, I don't have any. But we do want to get this put together. So what I did is right now, I've got these things close to square, front and back, by eyeball. I'll have to take it in once we get it running and get the front end lined up. But this has got a good starting point, and what I do is I have my rod adjusted so it's pretty close. I'm just going to pull that down close for now, just in case something has to come out. Alright, so what I did, this box here has 6 turns lock to lock. So what I did is I split it, went to 3, basically getting my box in the center because my pitman arm wasn't on. I talked to Tom's. They said that the 2.5-inch lift that I have on this Bronco doesn't require a drop pitman. So this was the original off of the 66. So and this thing has got 4 notches on it, and so does your pitman arm. It's got 4 square portions inside. So you just need to make sure you get those lined up. If you don't have it right, it won't go on. See, if I pull it off, it won't line up. So one of my watchers also remind me I don't need to use my hand as a hammer. Now I know better. Alright, the pitman arm, the torque on this is 170 to 230 foot-pounds. So I'm going to have to get a big bar to do that. I'm going to wait till I get my links on, sort of help me hold it. But just keep that in mind. I bumped it up with my impact, but again, you still need 170 to 230 foot-pounds. Alright, so let's get our drag link. So we have our drag link. This is new from Tom's Bronco. the adjuster, everything, and we'll just install that. It's got this crooked end that goes on the bottom. And that shows I've got it pretty close, because again, I already turned my steering box to somewhere close to the center. It's still there. So I can probably back this up just a little bit. Like so. So I'm just going to run these down and get them tight, because the worst thing in the world is to get these things pulled down good and tight and then trying to get them out. And if you have to use like a tie rod tool or whatever, and you end up busting your seals here. So that's the reason why, like on the bottom, I did this same thing. I didn't tighten them, because I want to make sure this thing is there and not coming out, because I've made that mistake before. I had to remove them, end up messing up a boot. Alright, so we have our Tom's Bronco adjustable track bar. I'm going to put it in. We're going to use our silicone grease that comes with the kit. Make sure we get this like the shocks that we put in the same way. You don't want this squeaking. The only thing is I can't adjust it until we get, really I want to have weight on the Bronco, the engine, body and all that. So we'll put this in, basically get it installed, and we will adjust it once the Bronco is finally fully assembled. Again, this just keeps it from squeaking and making all kind of racket. And the bushings. Push in like the others. Okay, so I have the track bar put on the front pin on the housing, and then I've got it screwed out. This rod here is 1 mile long, and I think on the instructions it said it's pretty typical to have about 3 inches out, but again, I'm just going to put a bolt in it. I'm not going to tighten it down, because until the weight's on it and everything else is in it where it's supposed to be, then you'll use your steering and kind of push the frame in and out and get it centered. So I can't do that right now, but we're getting a home for all of our parts. Hey guys, I forgot to mention, when you're setting up your front end and putting your suspension in, your drag link and your track bar need to be parallel. And so as you see, mine right now are parallel. I've got an adjustable track bar, and then of course your drag link is adjustable. But until I get the tires on it, I can't really adjust it, and I want to put it on the ground. Then we'll check and make sure that I've got the front end centered under the frame. So anyways, if yours doesn't look like this, you're going to have to do a little bit of adjustment. It just kind of throws your geometry all off whack if these two aren't at least pretty close to parallel. All right, we're going to install the steering stabilizer now. So I think this was one of those things they kind of leave up to you to mount where you want it. I went to Tom's website and I didn't find any instructions. I looked at a couple photos of what people had, and looking at the bolts that they send with this kit, it drills right up here through your cross member. So what I did was I split the difference on the length of my shock, I centered the wheels where they're supposed to be, so the shock stays in the center so it has travel in and travel out. So we'll give this a shot and see how it does. So right here on Tom's drag link, they have this little brace here, and so it is my guess and understanding that this is where you want to mount your steering stabilizer, because that keeps this thing that goes perfect between these U-bolts, and that'll keep this thing from walking up and down that shaft in the event it did try to slip. So we'll go ahead and get this tightened down. Now, let's take our shock. And like we talked before, you have a big end and a little end. So this is a big hole, so I want to make sure I put the bigger of the two in. Alright, so here you go, guys. Everything's installed. Again, I didn't put fasteners on everything and tighten everything down just because, you know, we have to tweak it, especially like the track bar. I know the steering is going to be way off. We're going to have to get the front end aligned. But mainly getting everything home. I'll give you a quick measurement on the steering stabilizer because you're not going to find it anywhere else, and this is what worked out for me. I measure from the inside of my frame rail to the first bolt is 13 3/4 inch, 13 3/4 of an inch to the center of the bolt from the driver's side inside frame rail, and I would say I'm 1 15/16 off center, off the back. So that'll locate this bolt hole, and then you can put your bracket up here and drill your other. But that worked out good. I'll be honest, it was a little tight, and what I did is I put 3 washers behind my the main bushing washer, just trying to split it up a little bit more, because when I turned to the lock to the left, it put the stabilizer just locked up. But here's the thing, is when I turn to the right, you can look at the boot and tell that I'm just about fully compressed there too. So this measurement could probably be adjusted just a little bit. Matter of fact, if it was me, see, we said 13 3/4. I would go to 13 1/2. So if you guys would drill yours at 13.5 to the center for this first bolt, you'd probably be in better shape than I am, and it'll work out fine. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us again tonight. And remember, you can always email me at jasonandjonibuilds@gmail.com. We'll put it on the screen. And I always love hearing from you guys. And again, we appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. You guys take care. Bye.